Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here at the 81st Venice Film Festival. Maybe for people who haven't seen The New Year That Never Came, maybe you can just give us a brief introduction.
There are a few.
What can people expect when they watch your movie?
Rich narration, multiple story, multiple plots, and a great grand finale. 40 actors, yeah, a lot more characters, but 40 actors with so it's a rich film, I think, in this respect, yeah.
I understand that it all stemmed from an initial short that you made, which was kind of like one of these sort of characters, one of these subjects, and then kind of expanded into the feature that we see now. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that story, that path that the film has taken.
All right, so yeah, it started somehow by doing a short a couple of years ago, but I didn't quite expand it. I mean, sure, it's, as I said, it has 6 lines of story, so 6 storylines. So one of them is this short expanded, and that's it. But the others are completely independent in a way, actually. The characters interact, the stories intertwine and everything. So it's a canvas of multiple plots.
And what sort of sparks your interest in this very particular moment in Romanian history, this December 1989? And I guess, why did you think it was the kind of thing that would be worth putting on the big screen?
Well, I hope that people will find interest in this. But I think it was a special year, that year, 1989. It wasn't just this day, to tell the truth. I once had an idea to make a film with each month of that year, but reflected in all these, let's say, communist or ex-communist countries. Because, for instance, Poland was the first one who was immediately crossed the line to capitalism. But then, ironically, in 1990, they returned for a short while to communism, ironically. So yeah, for me also, I think it was because I grew up, and I was a young boy, of course, in that time, but I still have vivid memories. Thirdly, I think because I felt it like a revelation, a gift, this gift of freedom, of dignity, and whatever. But it happened all of a sudden. So maybe it happens with all these shifting points in history. They take place without us noticing, you know? I mean, big history takes place without you being an actor. That's maybe one of the points.
And is it also one of those things, you know, about people not remembering how repressive that moment in time was, and it actually being healthy for a nation, but also beyond Romania, to recall those times, like you say, in a way to even appreciate the freedoms you might have today?
Exactly. No, I think it's hard to imagine, to tell the truth. I think even the tone of voice is very mild in this tone compared to in this film, compared to what harsh reality was back then. But it's hard to remember. I even don't recall everything, you know. Yeah, sure, I was a young boy, but I sometimes I'm even surprising myself. I mean, in conversation or whatever, when I recall certain details that seems now completely horrendous and absurd. So it's, yeah, in this respect, sure, it's good to see what is the danger, for instance, to return to such tyranny or control freak state. You know, I mean, you get this big brother state, yeah.
And in some ways, do you feel like that could be even more pertinent now than maybe 5-10 years ago? It does sometimes feel like if we're taking one step forward, 2 steps back. If we look at,
6 years ago, I was saying the same. You know, first time when I realized that, I was in New York with a friend of mine, and I think that happened in 2012, and I was in New York. And guess what? It was the year when Putin occupied Crimea, and me, as a Easterner, I was completely horrified that the Western world accepted this without much opposition. I said because it was against any common sense, against the rule of law, international. So in that moment, actually, what we're living now, to say the truth, this this invasion of Ukraine, I think it has the beginning in that year when he invaded Crimea, and the Western world just accepted. So if you ask me, yeah, sure. I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of this tyranny and the possibility to return to authoritarianism and to dictatorship is contemporary with us. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, we didn't get rid of this.
And in terms of crafting each of the characters, what was your approach and what kind of inspired each of them?
I wanted to make them different a bit, like doing a different film each time. For instance, the students, they seem more like in a road film, a road movie, yeah, you know. This lady with the demolished house is more spectral. It's a bit, I don't know, everything is restrained. Even her way of acting seems to me a bit British, let's say. So it's very interior, everything. And then I expanded some other things. For instance, I had this comedy, dark comedy from the Christmas Gift, and I wanted the character to preserve this piece with these TV studio guys who are actually trying to mend a very absurd situation with a very absurd broadcast, you know, which actually is true. So, and in the moment when the Berlin Wall fell, that is in November, in the same moment, they were shooting in Bucharest in a TV studio this appraisal of Ceausescu TV show for New Year's Eve. That's why the title, the New Year's Eve, that never came. So I thought, I watched archives. I ended up actually the film with 2 pieces from this TV show after the final credits. So to me, when I saw it, I said, oh my God, what can be more ludicrous than that? This lack of historical sense, you know? So maybe this inspired the whole project, because the characters, they don't know what was going to take place, so they are so desperate and so trapped.
And I guess that maybe leads into, you know, the overall tone of the film, this kind of tragicomic kind of, you know, feel to it. How did you work with your actors perhaps to bring that about? And were you taking reference from other films or filmmakers in the way it might sort of sit in that sense?
That was very difficult. Yeah, sure, that was difficult to unify these voices, you know, these actors in the same key yeah, I kind of, for me, it was as a reference. I had Milos Forman's The Fireman Ball Room, yeah, or something. The Milos Forman, yeah, he had a film with a lot of characters, and they were on the edge of being serious or not.
It made me think of maybe like some British comedy as well. I don't know if that's something that
I love Monty Python. I'm a big fan, you know. So
like
that's
just like
me.
a bit deadpan, you know, and this
That's
like,
me. I mean,
dry.
I love Monty Python. They're yeah, my idols. I mean, my humor is based on them. I don't know what I would do without them. So of course, you have some moments in this film that are kind of yeah, sure, very dark and dry humor.
And in terms of your casting process, because you needed to get people all on the same tone, you had to cast the right people. Was that a long process for you? How did you decide who to be in the film?
Oh yeah, sure. But I casted first the main characters, and then gradually filling up the list with the others. I mean, yeah, and then sure it was difficult, because if you choose a character as a mother of someone, you have to look for someone who at least is similar in a way, physically. Yeah, but it lasted I don't know, 2 months or something. We were moving fast sometimes, and very painfully slow at other times. But basically we managed to make the film very soon, to shoot the film. And this is very hard to do film, because you have to keep continuity for actors, and not only for clothes and other objects, but mostly for psychological states of mind. Yes.
Yeah, and I think even because you might think of, when you think of period drama, you like going back to sort of a different century, but actually going back to 1989 can be just as challenging, because things have changed more than you remember. So, you know, just like the technology and the clothes and kind of the muted tones feel very much sort of late 80s.
And I think that now you're too kind with us. Actually, if you go like 10 years ago, it's already a different world, because these screens, this everything, you know, it changed the life, it changed so much. 10 years or maybe 20 years ago, it was a different world. And you can see that in cinema when it comes to UK. The world was different in UK, before Brexit, and now it's different. Yeah.
And in terms of the impact of your film, what would you hope people to take away? I guess in terms of, as we said, throwing a spotlight on this very particular moment in time in history, but also maybe reflecting on where we are at now in our current society and the sorts of things that we don't want to see come back again.
Sure. I would be glad to have such a feedback, but I can't control that. I mean, I was just thrilled and happy to see the reaction at the premiere. The audience received it very warmly, even more than warmly, to my surprise, But of course, I would love to have a sort of open a debate about this, or at least a dialogue, if you want, with some of the audiences. And it happened to me in the past. So I'm not right now very, let's say, disarmed about this. No, I think that it can reach a certain level of awareness in the public.
And finally, what does it mean to you to have the film here at the Venice Film Festival? And do you already know what you're going to be working on next?
Yeah, Venice is. But sure, I was dreaming about Venice because it's very special to me, the special place. But I had no hope because here they look for stylized films. Probably this one, when I was accepted, and I said, maybe this is a stylized film too. I thought to myself. So I was very happy. Yeah, sure. As I said, the premiere night was, was stunning. I have no words, actually. I really have no words. And the next project I'm working on 2 or 3 things. As a producer, I'm working with my daughter. She's studying in the Royal College of Arts in London. She's doing animation. And she's doing that, so we are sort of a joint venture with Royal College of Arts and Kinotopia, this company. Yeah, I'm doing this animation. And I'm finishing one animation myself with France and Croatia pretty soon. And who knows what's next.
Staying out of trouble then.
Yeah, staying out of trouble. I'll try.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Congratulations on the film, and really enjoy the rest of the time presenting here in Venice. Thank you.